Let's see. What I gotta do? I need to check my notes. Probably not the best idea to cough into the microphone. I apologize for that. Hey, Fizwick. Evening. Chess Solo. Good evening, sir. Oh, Liquid, thanks for the follow. Is it Dolchin Katana? Is that right? Hey, welcome to the chat. Yeah, the guys, it's just me tonight. My daughter had to work. So, I just figured I'd spend some time trying to get some dev done. Maybe talk to myself a little bit. So, if I have it during a Twitch stream, then I'm not crazy, right? I can talk to myself, or because older people we talk to ourselves, right? I hope everybody's having a good evening. It's Avish, Pipes. It's good to see you guys. What is today? Today is the 8th. Looking at my to-do list. See, I should have done Twitch a long time ago. I talk to myself all the time. People, what are you doing? So as long as you don't answer yourself, you should be fine, right? Easy Lee, thanks for the follow. I saw earlier that Zucan and ZBrush were doing like a dual stream, I guess. Yep. Bones is a friend of few words. Very trustworthy, though. Anybody else out here with me today? Let's see. Oh, looks like I got the zone myself today. Which is fine. There's a lot of stuff going on in other zones. It allows me to do this without affecting other people's testing. I'm sorry if you can't hear me real well. I feel like I'm coming down with something. Hopefully not. Hey, Deep CV. On screen, it looks like you may be on an island in Hungary. No, this is Evershade Weald. Let me. I was looking over here to do a little bit of take off my speed gem so I can just walk normal. I think it's up this way. Got some stuff to work on with the Bard quest in this area. And while I was here, I know some preliminary population work was done in the tunnel system. That looks good. I like the Begal Wolf. I wanted to see how much had been done here and figure out if I can create a trigger this way. Yep. Figure out if I can create a trigger that will allow me to be able to spawn an NPC within range of the entrance, or whenever the player comes back. Oh, look, I went the wrong way. It's easy to get turned around in here. I think it's over here in this little... Is this it? Yeah. Does it go through this way? Nope. This is it. I want to go up the edge over here. And then it should be out by the river mouth. And that should look familiar to some of you guys who've been out here already. Let's see. Oh, wow. 3-stream streak. Awesome. Glad to have you. This is probably not going to be as interesting stream as when I usually have my daughter on with me. And she is supposed to meet up with me on Sunday night to do some testing. She works some odd hours, and sometimes they make her work Friday, so. But, I mean, you got to pay the bills, right? Ryan, it's good to see you. Ooh, looks like we got an ad break here. Your pants have a tear in the back leg of your pants. You need to get that stitched up. It looks good here. Well, I'll tell you, I love actually, sharing with you guys. For the most part, all that stuff would be done behind the scenes, and for the most part, while we're, doing our work or whatnot, we don't talk. Sometimes I listen to music. In my day job, I do a lot of programming. I'm a senior software engineer. Been doing it for years, and I will tell you, I absolutely love listening to audiobooks while I'm working. I always thought that for the longest time, I always thought people could do. I have this thing I can do. I didn't know everybody didn't do it. I have the ability that I can use my eyes to see one task, and I can use my ears to listen to something that helps me focus what I'm doing with my eyes. And I asked my boss at one point, I said, why don't you listen to an audiobook while you're working? And he tells me I can't do that because I'll get focused on what I'm hearing and I can't do my work. I just didn't know that some people are like that. Some people are wired that way. Very fortunate. And like I said, for the most part, if I didn't have something going on where I can listen to while I'm working or whatnot, I just get distracted with, other sounds in the offices and stuff, it just helps me be able to tune stuff out as I'm going. Only when I run. Yeah, I see that now. I'll have to mention that to Zucan. This robe, I think, it's a special robe. It's not there for everybody. Originally, it was done for Sean, and then there's a version of it that's necromancer for me. Fiswick says that a priest of it. No, it's specifically just for me. I got my own robe. Let's see. Deep CB says I do the same. I have an audiobook running all the time. It makes time at work feel like it just passed. Yeah. That's one thing. Recently, I'll say at work, I've been listening to stuff from Michael Crichton. Currently, the book I'm listening to is Timeline. It's pretty good, but I like all of Michael Crichton stuff. He's very detailed. He's the same guy who did the Jurassic Park movies, or the story behind Jurassic Park. Same guy. Drama Strain is really good too. Oh, the staff too, with the skull on it. Yeah. Who knows? One day, maybe. I don't know. I mean, we got the was it the hardcore mode or whatnot? But I mean, I think the plan is to have PvP areas that are allocated off, not necessarily where you go to. If I remember correctly, it's been a while since I played EverQuest, but I remember that if you went to the Priesthood Discord, it kind of puts you in a PvP mode, I think, or a hardcore mode. Tavish says, I love the lamp. Yeah, lamps are cool. I love the fact that you can attach certain items to your body, whether it's the book. I got a pouch over here. The backpack. It's got a little bedroll at the top. That's one of the things I love about the game is that your character is not just your armor set and your weapon, you know? Taylor says audiobooks I would have to tune into too much to do my work, like Nick Dennis' work friend. Feels the same way. Yeah. And like I said, because you only know what you experience in your life, I had no idea that other people, it was too distracting that their ears can pull them away from what they're actually focusing on. ZBrush, hey man, thanks for the raid. How was the stream, sir? Meeks. Deep CB says, I've been listening to Shadow of the Gods series. Very good. I recommend it if you like fantasy and Vikings. I do. I have to be real choosy about what I listen to or what I read. I haven't had a chance to really read much since I've been working on this project. I just don't have a whole lot of free time. I used to run games, D&D, tabletop games over the weekends, but I've had to stop that while I'm doing this, which is fine. But I can tell you I have players that constantly are, hey man, when you get back to running that game? I was like, well, early access is in June 1, I don't know beyond that, but I keep telling them that this is for the greater good. This is that's what we need to do. And they're very supportive. They really can't complain. They've had me as a dungeon master for years, so they're really excited to see how this turns out, as well as I am. I like it so far. It's been a wonderful project. Fizwick, 134 days, 12 hours. Who's counting? Everybody is. I saw something recently. There's I think it's a massively MMORPG site or whatnot. There was a like a best developer of 2025 or whatnot, and people were picking from the list or whatnot. Eminem is ahead. I'm like, we haven't released yet. That's funny. It's great though. Hey, we got the best fans. It's awesome. But there's a lot of cool games out there too. Oh, let's see. Thanks for the follow, Special Agent. Safety first. Appreciate that. I would. Fizz, don't do that. If people want to go out there and look at it, they can. But yeah, I don't want to distract right now. But I appreciate it. No, it's okay. It's fine. They'll find us. I'm not worried. Apparently, we're quite ahead now anyway. So, yeah, it's awesome. But I would, suggest go out there and check out the site and look at it. If you find the article on it or whatnot, do vote and vote what you think is best. Let's see. So you guys have had a chance to watch ZBrush and Zucan do the art. I think they're doing hairstyles now. I'm trying to get some more polish on the current races. See, I come down through here and I look at it. There's some base population work. That's not. I need to let the environment guys know this. I'll take a little screenshot of this for later. Pixel Kit, thanks for the follow. Oh, Goblin 2 was doing his, the concept work? What was Goblin doing? Was it hair stuff or something else? There's no telling. He jumps around all types of stuff. Sometimes it's icons, sometimes it's like a, you know, a screenshot for, or a, what do we call it, splash screen art or whatnot. Dargan says, what's my job at M&M? I am on the design team. Sean pulled me in to help with doing quest and writing lore for the game, doing concept art for maps. I do a little bit of everything. But lately I've been implementing quest. So I will do whatever they need. I am not picky. I do like to be creative, so, and Sean lets me have opportunities to be creative. Every once in a while I'll get to do a quest on my own and just completely implement it, you know, which is what I love to do. But currently, the plan is for me to finish through all the class quest for Phelan Draw. And then once I get done with that, then I can, then we can move around a little bit more. I also got a side quest I'm working on. With you guys, I call it Laundry Day Quest, which I've done a little bit of, but it's not my focus. This is the Phelan Draw stuff is the focus. Let's see. Bondworker says NPCs look like they're doing impression door. Yeah. So I just want to come in here and see whether or not that are they mobile or are they stationary? Sometimes it looks like they're stationary. Whether I can put some animation, some patrol routes, maybe even a couple of have a couple of them talking to each other, like, you know. I don't know. What would Fosgrim say to each other? Could probably use some more armor. This guy's got a shield. Barely covers anything. Let's see. For those who just came in, usually I have my daughter with me to help me out. Make sure that I'm not missing any chat. If I do miss chat, I apologize ahead of time. Just because I'm trying to keep up with everything. But I guess all streamers have that challenge, I guess. Goblin has a stream for a few days. I wonder if he's doing some vacationing. A lot of people were taking a couple of days. I took last week off, but I mean also streamed with my daughter while she was here visiting us. I was fortunate enough I had all my kids under one roof for a while. My youngest just turned 21, so I've got 5 kids between 36 and 21. It was just a rare moment to have everybody under the same roof. It was kind of cool. Let's see. He was recovering from getting sick over his break. Yeah, there's a lot of that going around. I've had a lot of people in my day job's been out. That's why I'm worried if something I may be catching something myself. If I sound a little bit off, that's probably it. Pipe says, do you get to pick names and itemization for name mobs? Yes. There's a lot of times where they'll come to me and they'll say, hey, we've got this rare spawn here. Can you give us some items for it? I think I've done, I mean, at least it's got to be like 100 at this point. Close to it. But I try to, when I create each item I try to create, make it unique, and then I try to put lore behind all the items I create. Sugar, thanks for the follow. J-Pop, Q Stewart, yeah, thank you very much. Much appreciated. Trying to think of what else I can say about the. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I create NPCs, create the quest, I do writing. Sometimes I sometimes I write books in game. Um, just it just depends on how much time I have. Sometimes I've got a break or whatnot at work. I'll just jot something down. I'll add that later. When I say I'm at work, I'm at my day job. Dargon, take care. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate that. Much love to you guys too. Sad Man says, can you implement a quest based around a very sad man? I mean, yeah, I could make a quest about anything, honestly. I try to put some emotion in some of the quests I've done. It's not just necessarily a quest that you go, hey, run across the tanner, and he says, I need 5 skins of wolf pelts. Go make this and get it back to me. You got those quests, and they're in the game. But every once in a while, I like to see if I can just add as much as I can. There are some quests that are not obvious, and you have to really dig to get to them. There are some quests I know that have not been solved at this point. And that's not like me a challenge. I'm just saying that some quests that have been put in the game are meant to be not necessarily hidden, but not easily found. And so there may be a time that may be years from now where someone stumbles on something and puts 2 and 2 together and comes up with more than 4, and basically gets the ball rolling. That kind of thing. I'm excited about that. I think that's kind of cool. I think it's definitely kind of EverQuest-ish, but yet it's unique all to itself because of the mud system and all. There's more than just, it's just go out, kill stuff, and then come back kind of thing. Could have one of the wolves walking to the maiden and sit in front of them and get a pat and a snack. That's true. You can do that. Yep, absolutely. And you can do that with the. They have like a spawn commands on spawn commands, and you can have it where you trigger off each other. So the thing is, it waits the wolf to get to that point, sets off a trigger. The pats happen. Sets off another trigger, the wolf gets up and it moves forward. Lore Master. Say I'm the Lore Master. Well, I can't say I am the Lore Master because I am one of several. And I can tell you that it's a lot of lore. The amount of lore we have versus the amount of lore that's already been implemented is there's a lot going on behind the scenes. I wish I could share with you, but I don't think that would be fair, and it wouldn't be fair to you. I want to let you know that I may intentionally not tell you lore because I want you to find it in game. I think that and you're gonna run in the game and you're gonna meet other people and they're gonna have little bits of information. And then you'll go off and explore and you'll find more bits of information. And over time of playing the game, you'll get a better picture of the whole lore as a landscape. Happy Troop says, I like the color of these mobs. They look so sweet. Yeah, I agree. They do. And it's real close to the concept image too. But are you talking about the elves itself? Yeah, elves are good too. But I do like the wolves with the light green, the yellow eyes. Very cool. The beguiled wolves. Bottle Rocker says, love the need to dig to discover more quests. Mud system is so much fun. From a limited playtest. Yeah, I think so. And it's the quest we're doing is it's not like you have to do it to progress or move forward. We want you to just play the game the way you want to play. You can do quests if you want to. You can just go out and hang out with your friends and You know, you can go, into a dungeon, or you can go find a raid target, or you can do some crafting if you want to. It's made to be. I try to tell people that we're trying to make it where it's not a fast paced game. You're not rushing to 60, or 100, or whatever the level's going to be. Right? It's a world. You're there. Enjoy it. Smell the roses. Go hang out, socialize, learn some stuff. Become involved with the people around you, right? It's not most MMOs nowadays to me seem like they make a whole bunch of easy way for you to solo, right? It's all convenience and for convenience sake, I don't necessarily agree with it. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's just, what do you like? And I would suggest, if you really want to play like a solo game, there's a lot better games to play. Go play Cyberpunk 2077. That's an amazing game. I'm a big fan of the tabletop Cyberpunk 2020. But I'm just saying, or The Witcher, great solo game. Get everything you need if you're not going to deal with other people, right? But if you're going to be in an MMO, the point is being with other people. Interact with them. Don't have to all the time. It's not like but have fun. Let's see. And I apologize for the coughing and stuff. I could turn the mic off, but I'm not a good streamer. I'm still a noob at this. Ever says, I hope some aren't solved before launch. It would be a little sad if they had. Some people, I would imagine, would like the chance to be the first to solve a quest. I can tell you that not all quests are in. Like, people talk about, well, these other people have been in alpha, for a month or so. I'm telling you that not all the quests are in alpha. Not all the zones are available in alpha. So there would be stuff when EA starts that alpha would not have seen. So take that for what you will. I think, there's going to be some quests that aren't activated until EA starts. Everything that's going on in alpha now is testing to see how the classes work and how. Well, it just makes sense, right? If it was, you want people to test, and test the things that you need them to test, and try to, I don't think it's unfair not to show everything during the alpha, right? I think that, people playing the alpha are having a good time. So go have fun, right? Let's see. I'm trying to catch up here. Liquid says, oh yeah, when Sean talked about including MUN environmental interactivity, I got pumped. Yeah, it's great. It adds so much to me. Because like I said, if you're not interested in that, you can just completely bypass that, go attack the next mob. If you see something in games, what I try to tell people is that you don't have to spam the look button. A lot of people will be like, yeah, everywhere I go, I hit look button, or whatever, look macro. I'm trying to tell you that for the most part, if I do look right here, for instance, it's telling me I'm in Evershade Weald, right? That's like the default message for no zone. But there's not anything really here other than, the maidens and stuff. But if you run across something that you find a table, it's got a book on it, maybe a skull, it's got a lamp glowing a weird, mysterious color to it, then maybe do the look action, right? And it will give you more information. If you get something other than the base message of you're in the zone, right, then definitely take notice, right? Definitely look around, dig a little deeper in that text, right? There may be something else there. There may be not, right? There's text just to give descriptions to rooms or whatnot, to add lore to it, right? Doesn't mean like every time you see a different message that there's going to be a secret MUD action, but we're using it to help flesh out the areas, to give context for those who want it. Not everybody wants it. Um, let's see. Q saying, looking forward to many years of engaging lore and story arcs without ever having to fight the gods. Yeah, I do love the idea, because like in EverQuest, it was you got to 60, and then the next expansion came out, and you were like, oh, okay, well, we're gonna be getting a 65 or 70 or whatever, and the goalposts keep moving, right? And at some point, like when Plains of Power comes out, you're attacking the gods, right? And I mean, after you get to that point, I mean, Sean had mentioned it one time, like once you get to the point where you're killing off the gods, what's next? Like how do you keep that progression going? So it makes sense to me that it would be better to have a world where you have zones like cities or whatnot, where whether you're your first level or 60th level or 100th level, you come through and there's things you can see on occasion and do. You go off for a little bit, have an adventure, outside the city. Oh, turn my little lantern here. Go outside the city, have some adventures, come back, maybe find some adventures in town, go back out, maybe cast a portal spell and go into another plane of existence. Maybe get on a boat, jump out in the ocean, go down to the very bottom of the ocean, find a cave below the water. Maybe that. The possibilities are limitless. But the point being is that in most MMOs, you have a zone, like I want to say like World of Warcraft, right? You have a starting area, and then at some point you're maxed out at that level, and there's nothing else for you to do except go to another zone, right? And they systematically pushes you out farther and farther from the starting area, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying, I feel like to make it feel like a world, then maybe it's good to come back and then have reasons to go back and forth, and then it will feel more like a world. Let's see. Make sure I catch back up again. Physics says been doing public playtests since September, only 12th level. In fact, taking my time. Very good. K-pop says the quests are really cool. Glad you're liking it. Atomic Frog says you're doing great. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Just glad to be helping out. And we have a very talented team. Like, I think 42 at this point. And I'm gonna be honest with you. In my day job, I've worked years. I kind of wish, like at my day job, I had people passionate about getting code made and getting a product out to market. It is absolutely fascinating to me that I have worked in the commercial sector for years, on both aerospace and financial sectors, and people, it's different. People just come there, they get their job done, they go home, and it's like, yep, another day is another day. And then when I come home and I switch, I take a few moments, take care of my family, I eat my dinner, and then I jump on and do the second job, the night job, and to catch up with what everybody's been working on in Slack all day, and the open sort of development the team has, and the fact that the ideas are valued, and are encouraged is really, it's different. It really is. Usually, you work in the corporate sector, and you, as a developer, you get there and everybody's telling you this is what you're going to do, this is you've got all when you first start. There's not a whole lot of design. People like, this is what, nope, don't think outside the box. We want this. And I'm a person, I think outside the box. I do it constantly. And so I have to be creative. By design, I am creative, I guess, by myself. I've always had to do something creative, whether it's art or running a game for D&D or whatever. I've just always had to have this. I have this push to do that. And it could be, making up a code, a module, a function, whatever it is. I do it all. Let's see. Liquid says, mud mechanics, when people get used to them, will be a huge for the game world, whole world. Yep. Serious stuff. Yep. Big Stonecat says, EU friendly stream time. Is this EU friendly? Is this early in the morning for you guys? I think it's real early, right? I would love to be able to stream like in the morning, but I mean, usually my hours that I can work on M&M is in the evening between 8 and 2 in the morning. And I say 2 because I sleep between 2 and 6. And at 6, I got to get up, do caregiver stuff for my youngest, get ready for work, hit the day, full day work, come back, do it again. And I love doing it. But I drink a ton of coffee. It's the only way I can get through the day. I think I'm on I think this is my 12th pint of coffee for the day. And I've done this all my life, so it's not like it's something new. Special Agent Dana Scully says, I like the name, it's great. I love talking to strangers on a boat about adventures I've had. That's great. While you're doing the adventure, meet people, talk, learn their adventures, what they've been doing, find out information from them. The boat is an amazing place to reflect and relax. Yes, I agree. And I've only traveled it like once when it was a little still having troubles, but I've heard people tell me that it's very much a smooth ride now. And I guess in Keeper's Bite, the elevator's getting better too. Bottle Rocker says, macro, look, wait, 1 second, repeat. Don't do that. Don't do that. Look with the eyes of the lantern, and then if you see something interesting, hit the button. Sandman says, maybe just hang out with frogs because frogs are cool. I don't think we've done a frog model yet, but I mean, it's probably on the list somewhere. You can ask Zucan or ZBrush. They would know. Tavish says, I hope we get some lock zones at some point that the community have to work towards to opening, be it through quest or resources. I mean, that's very doable. There's a good chance that'll happen. Fizwick says, except for those frogs, the lower guck. I hate those frogs. Man. Well, I mean, they were good to farm, right? Gotta catch up with people. I'm gonna go down the list a little bit here. I apologize if I missed anything. Safe First says, I'm in airspace. It can be a drag times. That's good. I like that. Cosmic Bunny says, hey, Nicodemus, are you guys looking to add more people to your dev team before early access? I will tell you that we've added quite a few, and I will also say 2 things. One, if you go out to the Discord channel, there's one of the threads out there that says like open positions. Check that, regularly, like once a week or whatnot. The other thing is if you have like a skill set and you think you can help out with the project, feel free to reach out to either Sean, a Loving Robot, or Nick Hotz on the Twitch streams, and let them know. Ollie's, I would say Ollie too, if it's like coding or server development or whatnot. He's the one who handles that. But he's hard to get a hold of. He's real busy too. He's like me. He has the day job as well. Moosh BB says, how many subs do you guys need to hit cover server cost? I don't know. That would probably be a Sean question. Um, yeah, I don't know. All this is new to me. I will tell you, this is the first time I've like made like a commercial game. I've made games in the past for myself, or it's like hobby projects or whatnot. Um, but I'm learning a lot. That's part of the reason I've joined the team is because I wanted to know the business side. And I told Sean when I joined up, I said I'm interested in learning the stuff that that he knows that he's done several times, and that's kind of I guess that's kind of my payment, is to get the experience and see if I can do this, and to learn from other people who've been doing it for years. It's kind of nice, considering I've been coding all my life, to actually be the junior developer for a change. It's been really nice. But I am a junior developer who's coded in 14 different languages over his lifetime. So, but I'm still learning stuff. BT, it's good to see you. Hey, man. Justin Beard says, me and my stuffed moose cookie are watching from snowy New England. Awesome. Coffee is definitely life. Almost caught up. I'm missing my daughter. She's really good at calling these out. Justin Beer says last time I went, which was a few months ago, the guy next to me fell off the boat. Yeah, that happens a lot. People just jump off the boat, or the boat. At one point, the boat was zoned without people. that was not good, but it was funny. Now it's funny in the past, but I seem to remember playing EverQuest and getting dumped in the ocean on occasion. So I think it's a universal thing. I don't. I do believe that if that's the route we're going, we're on a good path. So, Tsunami Sun says, "How is the M&M world? Had a house move, so no internet for a few weeks. Hey, congrats on a new house, though. The M&M world is progressing. I've been working in Phelan Draw. Lisa Von and I have been doing Quest here. Team has been working all over in several zones, some I can't talk about. And yeah, there are times I see stuff and I'm like, man, I wish I could say something about this. This would be great if I could just show this to people. But at the same time, being that I've been a dungeon master for years at tabletop games, I've learned, I've got a patience to me, right? I'm like, yep, it's going to be really good though when you get to spring this on the players and then they get to see it firsthand, right? I had a campaign once. Had a situation where one player did something early on in the campaign, and I was like, I'm gonna remember that, right? That NPC is gonna show up again later, and it's gonna be at just the right time, and it has to be just when they come back through here, and that will have changed that. The things that happened in this game will change that NPC's life, and when they come back through here, I'm going to test the player to see if they remember what happened. And it took 4 years of real time before those players came back into that town again to be able to speak to that NPC. And I had played it off. They had come into the inn, and this person was blind because of they were part of a gang, a street gang or whatnot, and got stabbed in the eye and come running off. And so when they come back, the players were sitting there talking to this person that had like the patch over his eye. And they were like, well, how'd you lose your eye? So it was a fight as a kid with these, and I went through it. And at the very end, the player was like, oh man, that was me. And it was perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. And they were like, I'm so sorry that it ended that way. And he's like, no, you changed my life. You spared me. I was able to come back out of that, right? And it was a good moment. Rocker says, Sean says, 300 to 400 covers the server cost. Every 1,000 subs essentially creates an opportunity to compensate a team member full time, along with a little extra. Oh, that's cool. That's something I did not know. 1,000 subs. So, if we covered the whole team, there's 42 people. That's what, 42,000 subs? Interesting. Cosmic says, amazing, thank you. I'm currently in school for 3D modeling and animation. I really love this game so much, and I want to help. So, the people you need to talk to about the 3D modeling would be Zucan and ZBrush, as they do the character stuff. But it's not the only 3D modeling. You've got the environment guys too. So, you got Chinny who's doing his streaming. Bjorn on the team in Discord, he'll help out. A lot of times you can ask questions to these guys, and they'll take time to explain stuff because we kind of want to give back to the community and teach as we go. I'm not getting any younger myself, right? And I sort of did this late in life, which I'm absolutely tickled that I did. I do not regret joining the team day one, and I've been able to answer questions in my life I've always wanted answered. But I will say that I love the fact that it's open development so that we can teach other people outside of us. Because the whole point is hopefully, and even if it's not M&M, I hope it is M&M. But if you look around at the MMO space, all the games that have been started and stopped, or closed shop, or unfunded, or and for a variety of reasons, and not like pointing blame at people or whatnot. Life is life, and people have to make decisions that are hard. What I'm trying to say is, in order for the genre to keep moving forward, I feel like you need to be able to teach people how to do it, right? Because it's a great thing, and it should be generational, in my opinion. I hope at some point, maybe my youngin. Well, I got 5 of them, but one of them is really the gamer. Like, we'll do all gaming. All my kids do game, but like if she was gonna do a career in gaming, and I'm hoping that at some point she likes playing M&L, and she was born when EverQuest come out, right? I actually had her bassinet by my desk as when she was a baby. I was taking care of her, and then you can always tell when you're in a group of players who the mothers are in the team, right? Because I would be like, hey guys, I'll be right back, I gotta change the baby. And the guys are like, hey dude, man, why don't you get your wife to do that? We gotta go, right? And then always you could tell the lady players of the team would be like, oh, he's such a good husband, let him do his job. I was just like, yeah, I'll be right back, give me a minute, and like I said, it was back in '99, but it was interesting at the time to see how people reacted to that. And I don't think that's changed over the years. People have grown up and generations change, but the same things happen, right, in game. Celicia says, are we going to get a lot of lore on these Naiad things? Yeah, absolutely. What do you mean by a lot of lore? Like, where they come from? Who they report to? Do they have some structure? Is it just a communion? A community? Why beguiled on water elementals? Why can't they just get along with the water, right? There's a lot of questions. All of them may not be solved by just you going through here and reading a book or talking to some of these. If they'll if they like you, they'll let you talk to them. That's interesting. Enchantress. Let's see. Tsunami says, an EQ boat zone pushed me to the top of the mast that fell and then died. Had to swim with the sharks to find it since it is stay on the boat. I will tell you, the first time I had played a character from Aruden over to Kinos, that boat trip scared the hell out of me because I got a fear of sharks, and there's some big sharks between the Otis and the main continent. And I mean, and what's funny is that they wouldn't stay in the water; they would jump onto the boat and attack you on the boat, and they were gigantic. It was like the Meg versus the ship, and I was done. I quit playing the Erudite. I changed my character to a druid. I was like, nope, I'm not doing that trip again. And the water was dark in EverQuest, if I remember right. Like you had to get right up on a shark to see it. There was not like, it was so close that you could, I mean, it was really rough. It's like there are some people who have like a fear of spiders or whatnot. They can't fight against the spiders in the game, but arachnophobia. I was talking to Bjorn. He was saying there was a problem with Crest doing I don't know if you guys can see that or not. You get closer in this little corner over here. But for some reason, Crest winds up trying to put like a little waterfall effect. I got to talking to the team, and I told them, I said, if you guys want to put some waterfalls in here, that'd be great. I'd love to have it sort of divide up some of the sight lines with water. I think it would be good. Let's see who's all in here. Make sure I'm good. Model said, I love that DM story, by the way. I got so many stories. As a GM or DM, one of the things I appreciate is that when you do your job well as a storyteller, and you run a game session, and you haven't, say for instance, because life takes people in different directions, right? I had friends of mine in the military, and they get moved around a lot, reassigned to different positions. People come and go out of your lives. Get married, move off, find jobs in other towns. Nowadays, I mean, you can now pretty much, game online with people long distances. But I like being at a table for a couple of reasons. One, I just love being around the table. And it's easier than having to look through cameras to try, because there's a lot of things that you get from the player that talks to you. But a good GM pays attention to body language too. And you can learn a lot about whether or not a player's bored, or if they're really into it, or if you're hitting all the right spots, with the notes, with the combat. Or sometimes people like role playing, sometimes people like problem solving. I try to do a little bit of all when I'm running a game, but what I was trying to get to is that someone plays a game, and then years later they come back and they talk to you and they go like, man, you remember that night when you ran that game and we had the greatest time? It's like, and that was like the best. Like that combat, I thought we were dead, right? And it could be something minor, but the thing is, you make these memories, and it's just as real as like if you went out and went to watch your favorite football game or baseball game and someone knocked a home run. You remember that, right? Just as important. And it kills me that sometimes people, they remember something that's like 10, 20 years ago. I was like, yeah, it was a good night, wasn't it? That was, but I couldn't tell you what day that was, but I could tell you which campaign I was running. I could tell you, and like there's facts to games that I've kept in my head for like 4 years, right? Um, but I do like running a game at the table as opposed to like doing it online. It's not that, I mean, people play online all the time. I'm just saying that it's much more personal, and you can basically read people better where you're at when you're trying to keep up with the tempo of the game. Taff says you could cheat the water EQ by swimming halfway submerged. It would allow you to see without the water effect. Yeah, I agree. It was a trick you had to learn. I didn't know it early on, and I will tell you that I just didn't want to stick around. I did not want to be in the water. I was like, nope, I'm done. I'm gonna go over here where the snakes and spiders are. I'm good. Cosmic says, I don't remember which game it was I was playing with a friend who has arachnophobia, and they have a setting for that. It turns all the spider models into cats, I think it was. Yeah, I mean, that is something to be thinking of. I mean, I mentioned it at one point to the team about the arachnophobia. I just don't know if, I don't know what we're going to do about that yet. So I just know that we don't have a cat model. Chad Wellington, thank you for the follow. Esan, thank you for the follow. Mixes the intense, persistent, and irrational fear of sharks derived from the Greek word galos, shark, or phobos, fear. Yep. A GM that doesn't have a lot of good stories wouldn't be very good at D&D. I mean, you got to start somewhere, right? So I would say that if, I have this current situation going on with the players. I have not run a game for them in like 2 years. And one of the other players at the table, he's great. He's a great GM. He's just not, he's very much more, here's the combat, let's do this. But he's not much a role player. He doesn't really get them doesn't describe the area you're in. He doesn't say, like, you're in a cave with waterfalls left and right, making subtle sounds. And as the babbling creeks and brooks go through the stalactites and they cling tightly to the ceiling, and the columns and stalagmites, gently water lapping through the cavern. You see foliage along the top of the ceilings that reach down almost all the way to the floor, like they're reaching for a drink out of the water. Things that you can say that actually paint a picture in the mind of the player. And I've been trying to help him out, because I haven't had a chance to play in the game with the guys. But every time I see a particular player in that game, she looks at me and she goes, please come back. Please. We need you to run the game, please. And I'm just like, I'm like, give him a chance. Give him time to learn. These things they take time to learn. It's not easy. It's just, I think it's as difficult as maybe writing a book. Maybe. I don't know. Satisfactory. Oh, okay. I've heard of that game. Hey, Gloomkin. How you doing? Taff says you need to be a good storyteller as much as knowing the setting. Yeah. I agree. So, I'll go back to what I was trying to get in on here. I love you guys. You are my favorite distraction. I hope I'm teaching something, or at least, being entertaining to you guys. And so this room we have, oh wow, that's interesting. We need to check that out. A little bit of a glitch. Over here we have a bunch of near as it's sort of, I guess they're on guard. And if I go, let me do this. This is that same area. These are individual spawns. The cones are routes, or what we call like waypoints. And the spawns will follow a route. I'm doing well. I just feel like I'm coming down with something. Hopefully it's, I may have to go by and get like a shot from acute care tomorrow or whatnot. You get older and you're like, as soon as you feel it coming on, you're like, let's go get something for it. Let's go get you a steroid shot or antibiotic or something. Handy, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. So the NPC, there we go. The NPC in question I'm working with is back here. Mistress Nalira. And she's a rare. Pops right there. These guys, though, I feel like they could be doing something other than, I guess they could be guarding her, and maybe the reason why they're there. But I think they should be doing other stuff, like maybe going down to the water, you know. Bathing, taking a drink, whatever it is, you know. Or maybe they should be conversing with each other. Little bits of dialogue. Let's see. Kisses from the stuffed moose. That sounds awesome. So I'll click on one of these. I'll add another command, a go-to command. Actually, we'll start with a pause. Pause is just a delay. When they spawn in, I'll go 10 seconds. And then we're going to have them move down here. I'm going to change the heading of the character. See it? I don't know. Let me move up some. There we go. Could be fishing. I don't know. We'll have the character wait again. Just for now. And we'll say for like 20 seconds. And just go back home. So go home, command, sends it back to the original position. The last thing we got to do is set the index. So set active command 0, which you put at the top of the list, and then it repeats. Then we got to save it. It saves it to the database. Taver says NPCs conversing and doing daily chores is what would bring Night Harbor to life. Yes. There's some NPCs I've been adding stuff to recently. But my intention is, I mean, the more time we have, the more, more bandwidth we get, the more we can make interactive NPCs or have NPCs have their daily chores and routes and stuff that they do. Yeah, all due time. I agree. I think we've done a lot just for what we have, a team. And like I said, most of my time is between like 10 and 2 in the morning. On days I have to do day job stuff. Oh man, I still got my avatar up. Ha ha ha. Unless you guys choose. Mm-hmm. You can have me or the avatar, whichever one you want. And then that one's saved. I think this is just going to be shuffling around. It's not going to be much, just a little bit. Give a little agitation, a little movement, so they're not sitting straight. Pause a little bit. Go home. New one. Pause for a few seconds. So that one's going to be 30 seconds. And then set active command. That's all good. And then save. Alright, I've moved my 2 rocks for today. Do you guys have any more questions? Are you guys good as far as that goes? Oh, I do need to mention my daughter did made some emotes for you guys. I've added those. Let me know if you have any trouble using them. It should be stuff like I got a dice roll. Got an ogre. Gnomes. Humans. What else? Of course, bones. She's been making these for me. DeepCB, do you have a system you prefer to GM, or even setting like sci-fi or fantasy? I've done both. I've actually also done horror. I will say that what I have gravitated to over the years was originally D&D was Forgotten Realms, which I absolutely love. Red Greenwood stuff is absolutely amazing. Cut my teeth on Forgotten Realms back in the 80s. First edition, and then the second edition. Did a little Dragonlance, but mostly Forgotten Realms. All the way through the 90s. I ran a second edition game the entire 10 years of the 90s. And then when third edition came out, it was my favorite system, 3.0. When Wizards of the Coast took it over. Moved over to 3.5, and then when they started to go to 4.0, I played it once and I wasn't a fan. It didn't resonate with me at all. Definitely not what I expected from D&D. But there was this other company called Paizo that was doing a game called Pathfinder, and they were asking for help to basically test it. And so I gave a lot of feedback to them. I loved its system. It was what I wanted. And then I ran that all the way to, oh man, I think it was like, actually just recently, like 2 years ago. Mostly 1.0. I played 2.0 for Pathfinder like once or twice. It was good. Didn't have any problems with it. But went back at that point to D&D 5.0. And then I finished up with that. That's my history of running like fantasy systems. I've run Shadowrun, if you're familiar with that. Vampire the Masquerade. That whole White Wolf series of books. Let's say, Cyberpunk 2020, which was really good. A bunch of little one-shot stuff. Cthulhu, Call of Cthulhu back in the day. Shamrock says, so Nick, I don't care to be told how to do this quest. I just want to know if it's in. The King Fire Giant's head in Veil of Centaur is the quest in the game. Interesting. That's a very good question. So my first question to you would be, which king? And if you're thinking yourself, you mean there's more than one king, you've got a lot more work to do. Owen, sir, thank you for the follow. Buddy Bones Kill says, that's an excellent question, Shamara. I also love to know it's even active currently. Hey, no problem. That's about as much as I can give you on it, though. Good luck to you guys. Was it a spoiler? Not sure. All I'm saying is it sounds to me like you got more work to do. It's all good. I love the Veil, by the way. Simon did a lot of the work in that. There's actually, I think, 3 environment artists who worked in that area. And most of the prop work was done by multiple designers too. Hey, Jeffstein, how you doing? Happy Thursday, or is it Friday? Friday now. It's after midnight. Deep CB says, I've heard Pathfinder is good. I was second edition Palladium. That's good. I played that too, Rifts. Then got into Shadowrun, Rift, Cyberpunk for some reason, probably because I had a great GM. Rifts was my favorite. Yeah, I mean, you definitely, a GM is, your GM is more important than the system you play. Because you could have the best system in the world, and if you have not the best GM, it's not going to be a good time. Um, to me, as a GM, your responsibility is to make sure everybody has fun, and everybody, when they come to the table, and just like life, where everyone has different needs, desires in life. When a player comes to the table, they have different needs or wants or desires. When they hit the table, they may be a person, they love magic items. That's their big thing. Or that they like being a tactician in combat. They want to be able to control the battlefield. They really get into the strategy. But as a GM, it's your job to find out what that is and provide that for your players. Mark Deaton, thanks for the follow. And in in M&M, it's like I said, most people come to the game and they have expectations. This is what I expect to play when I play the game. And when they get there and they go like, oh wow, it's different. Not what I'm used to playing all their MMOs. I think over time people have just had. I think just the genre itself has built or trained players to play a certain way. I'm hoping that when people play M&M, that they learn to play the way they want to play, as opposed to what people are telling them this is the best way to play. I feel strongly that people should learn how to play and enjoy. It's like people tell me about the I need a map to tell me where to go, or I need a compass, or I need these things. I need all these tools and UI elements for the game to be fun. And I started liking it. I mean, granted, I'm an old guy, so like I'm Gen Xer, and probably a free range kid, latchkey kid, whatnot. I didn't have a lot of parenting, watching over me every minute of the day. But I remember, my parents going like, well, I'm going to go outside and play with my friends. And my parents were like, go, and the only thing they would tell me is like, if it's dark outside and if you're not back by that time, you're in trouble, right? But I mean, I could get on a bike and I could go miles away from the house. And today, that would be not a good thing, right? But I remember as I was a kid learning how to get back to the house. You learn how to use landmarks, right? You were like, oh, there's a rock at the end of the street here. And then if I take a left there and go down that street, there's that weird tree that's got the limbs that go way out, but it's been dead for a while. And then once you go past that, where the woods is at, right, just inside the woods, there's an old shack that's been torn down. It's got pieces of wood and stuff. I mean, no one lives there anymore, but we hang out there, me and my friends, because that's like our clubhouse, right? And so you make these you learn the terrain as a kid. And I can remember reading something from a great designer, one of my favorite ones, Mr. Miyamoto, the guy who created the Legend of Zelda game, if you've heard of that. But he had created the original game, the 8-bit game for the NES system, Nintendo Entertainment System. It was called Famicom back in Japan. But I read the article and it said that he wanted to make a game that reminded him of having fun as a kid exploring the backyard. That he wanted to relive that wonder, that sense of wonder and excitement he got from discovering stuff just in the backyard, whether or not it's the creek behind the house or whatnot. And he was on to something. I think as a designer, he's brilliant. And I'm hoping that, like, so as people play, maybe they'll, play the M&M, they'll learn that. They'll be like, oh yeah, you remember that spot? over there by the Concourse of Souls upstairs where the crypts are at. Yeah, remember that spot? That's where I'll meet you at, and then that one spot where the tombstone moves. We'll go find that area, and then we'll have an adventure there, right? That kind of thing. And you learn to navigate by things that people tell you or by seeing stuff. You start making this map in your mind that you miss out on when you have a map in the corner of the screen. I've got friends of mine who play first person shooter games. And when I talk to them, I mean, they nowadays they have even the screens, the monitors now have these modes that you can put an X directly in the middle of the screen where the bullet's going. And so all you got to do is wait for the X to cross over the enemy, and if you time it right, whereas you used to be able to have to guess where that's at. But now it's not a guess anymore because it's a convenient thing, right? And then I asked him, I said, so like, are you watching that? Are you, how? And my friend, who is a very good first-person shooter game guy, he's a person that could go pro if he wanted to, and it just boggles my mind why he doesn't do that because he loves games. But he tells me I never look at the screen. I'm always looking at the mini-map because the mini-map tells me when I'm getting close to one of the other enemies. And then I can use my peripheral vision to know when the X hits the spot. And I'm wondering, it makes sense that the game he has figured out how to min-max the game so that he doesn't have to work. I won't say necessarily work. I guess that's not really the word. What I'm saying is, I asked him, I said, was it fun? And he's like, it's kind of meh. And I'm like, so why not take off the X? Well, then that will hinder me. But that's part of the fun, is you having to figure out where the bullets got to go, right? And he's like, but other people are doing it. Other people got the X up there. And so that's what I'm trying to tell you is that I think as time goes on, and because ultimately companies, they want to I'm sorry, I don't do giveaways. That's the other neck. What I'm trying to say is that a little rub, a little of the inconvenience is good for a player to learn stuff. And I think that with the more quality of life things that have been put into a game, it's kind of robbed players of the fun. And I'm hoping they'll find that here. I'm sorry, Andy. Yeah, I'm not that neck. But I will tell you that if you can catch his stream, he's been doing it for quite a while now. I think he actually gives out an alpha key like once an hour. At least the other stream I caught him on it. That's what he was doing. Let's see. Come back here and read some. I've just been chatting. Sorry, I get long-winded sometimes. Find out where I was at there. Tavish says, was very impressed last playtest how much more polishing has been going into the game. Yes, we are constantly working on the game. I would say every day I see something new. It's inspiring. Jeff Steen says, I'm really getting to OSR old school RuneScape. I'm thinking that's what it is. Worlds Without Numbers is really fun. Yes, I agree. It's like I said, when you start focusing on the numbers and making it into a math, project. I mean, some people are into that, right? Some people, like, you look at what is it, EVE Online, and there are people that keep up with spreadsheets, of how to buy and sell, where to go. I mean, there's some fun to that, but I couldn't get into that. Not gonna dish on their fun. And I think it's okay to have games that have different different levels of assistance, and it's okay to go play a game that has a bunch of mini maps and the crosses across the screen or whatever it is. If that's what you like, if you're having fun, I'm just saying, evaluate: are you having fun? That's what I'm saying. If you're not having fun, find a game that you enjoy. Taylor says people need to adjust rather than adjust the game to them. I think this has just been a natural evolution of gaming over the years. I think ultimately, like, companies, they want your money, and in order to do that, they're willing to do things over time. Like, the game starts off. It's interesting to me. You got the games now that are doing the vanilla versions or the time lock progression servers or whatever it is. And then you go back to that and you're like, oh, this is great. And then they start opening up these conveniences, and it becomes this thing that people are like, I'm okay with it. This is fine. I need to do my dailies, and I got to hit the raid finder, and then it automatically propels me into it. I don't have to walk all the way there. I don't need to know where the dungeon's at. It's gonna just take me there, and then I'm not gonna have to talk to these people because I got a loot roller that'll roll for me if I need it. It determines whether or not I need it or not. And I'm like, these are choices that players could be making. These are experiences that players could be having, right? So, and some people will be like, well, I'd rather just do that, and that's fine. I'm just saying I'm different. Oh, I'm definitely Southern. I've been in the South all my life. I can't hide that. Hope that's okay. To be fair, when a quest tells you to go north, lift, a compass would be nice. I know that that has been discussed, or whether or not we can have some compasses in the game. I think that it's probably lower on the list of getting stuff done first. But as time goes on, there'll probably be a compass in the game. If I was a betting man, I wouldn't bet against it. Would love to see if they implement sense hitting or by compass items. I can tell you there's a spell True North in game. Dickie Hall, thank you very much for the follow. Nora says, I love playing with no map. Eventually you just get an automatic sense of north, south, east, or west. Yeah, if you look up to the sky, like if you're in Night Harbor and you look up to the sky, the Milky Way structure stretches from east to west. So at night you even know where you're at. And if you're like in the West Gate, the mountains are north and the ocean's to the south. You'll eventually learn where stuff is at positionally. I need coffee. Texas X is built in some monitors. I have one built in mine. Yeah, they're in mine as well. I don't use them. I also don't have the kill death ratio my buddy has, which is fine with me. I'll live. He's very impressive, but I mean, it's sometimes hard to tell. He's like, he'll do that for hours. I'm like, I can't do that. I gotta go do something else. I gotta go touch grass or something. Rook says, I agree. Don't like in-game maps and like to print them out and have cloth maps. But when StarQuest tells me to go north, you don't have a sense of direction yet. Yeah, I mean, you have to get that. That's part of learning it, right? Figuring it out. That's, a lot of times the early quests or whatnot are just made just to familiarize yourself with the area. I know that like there's a bard quest in Night Harbor that pretty much you're looking around Night Harbor for people, and it is to help you familiarize yourself with what's going on around you. Taver says that's why the WoW community became a bunch of min-maxers because of Parse's absolute. Yeah, I mean, at some point, what gets me is you that play the game. They always tell me the game doesn't start to level 60. That's when the real game starts. And I'm like, why did you create 60 levels of content then? Why not just start the game at 60? Why have people do that and then say, well, the game really is, our game is 60 level plus? It seems, I don't know, it just seems wrong. And then, you've got people who, they figure out the DPS meters and they figure out exactly what exact gear you need. And then people stress out over not having the exact gear that you need, tier gear for the stuff. And I don't know, it seems real stressful and, are people having fun with that? Is it fun? I don't know if it's fun. It may be just because I'm old, right? I mean, maybe just not fun for old guys, right? I don't know. It just seems very, I don't know, it's very not fun. It sounds more like work. Q service says correct. If you're not constantly fighting those things through its design, that sort of outcome is inevitable. Of course, you don't have to participate, but as the number of those doing so increases, people ultimately get left behind. In many cases, are forced to play in a way they'd rather not, but must in order to keep up with their friends, groups, guilds. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a lot, right? I do like that our game is sort of slower paced. You don't have to, you don't have to be like the rush to make it to whatever the maximum level is. I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't stop and smell the roses. You don't enjoy the area. You don't look around. You don't go get lost somewhere, right? I think it's good. And most things now, people are like, well, what if I die and I lose my body? What do I do? And I can tell you that if you can't get back to your body, you can go find a priest of Matt's War, and you can ask them to summon your body. If it gets to a spot where you can't physically get to it because, sometimes things happen. You can also get in to pull it from there. So, I mean, for the most part, there's always ways to get your stuff back, right? And part of the fun to me is trying to do a corpse recovery to try to get back to where your team is in fighting readiness or whatnot. Getting behind again. Let's see. Or WoW offering level boost those who were so bad. I think the whole point, like where they offer you a level boost or get it, if you're like you're starting up and you want to play with your friends, so we'll give you 160 level character. I mean, to me that feels like it invalidates other people's work toward level 60. I know what they're doing, and I can understand they want to get people into the content, right? And there's a reason for that. I just don't know if it's right. I don't know if it's good. I think it's, and wouldn't it be that, if you make higher level content and someone starts a game, if people wanted to play with them, they would just play, alts or tunes with them, and then help them get through the game. And I don't know. I am just a player, who has played games for years, and I guess these are just my opinions on stuff, but I've never been a part of like a AAA game studio or Mark Dean says it's fine for me. I'm from Tennessee and in Texas now. Well, I say I got a youngin' in Tennessee now. She used to be in Florida. She told me she wanted to see mountains for a change. She was in Florida, I think, for 6 years while he was doing his education. her fiance. Fizz says, also, as I tell people in Night Harbor, green glowing fortress equals west, giant golden dome equals east. You got it from there. That's very good advice. Yes, and maybe it's safer to go to the giant golden dome than it is to going to the green glowing fortress. For newbie characters, of course. Sami-san says, my issue is indoors you can see the moon, or you can't see the moon, so what do you do to navigate by in the deep? There is a way. Hopefully you'll find it. I purposely asked for there to be a way that you could tell the difference. I don't know if it'll be obvious. Just pay attention to your surroundings. You'll figure it out. Someone says, yeah, I had grid paper. I remember like playing the old, I don't know how many people here are older too, but this was back like in the early 80s. There was a game company called SSI, and they would do D&D games for the computer. Commodore 64 is what I played them on. I love the Commodore 64. But it was like Pool of Radiance and Curse of the Azurbans, and I'm trying to remember what the other one was. But they did Alterable. That was the Forgotten Realms. That's the ones I played originally. But they were good. They were very. And you go back and look at it now, and it's like it's very strategic. But I remember when I was playing the game that there wasn't any map or whatnot. So I would graph paper and I would map out every area that I was at the table where I was playing this computer game. And then when I tell people this, they look at me like I'm crazy. And I'm like, no, it was fun. I enjoyed that. I felt like I was doing something. Mark Dean says, Alakazam had all the EQ maps. Yeah, when EverQuest came out, and it was sort of the dawn of, the exact dawn. You still had like maybe 4 or 5 years before that, the internet really started to get away from being more than bulletin board services or the old school, the college to college connections or whatever. But it's the first time that really people played a game, and they were doing stuff outside the game to create websites to help each other and to socialize. And I know that's one of the core things about Eminem that I've heard Sean talk about over again. Because we asked stuff like, what are you okay with people making a wiki? And he's like, yeah, because that's what they did back in '99, right? Let's let people do that. And I think it's great. It's a good idea. Let people, put stuff together out there on the wiki. I will tell you now, being that it's fan made, and being that the game is not is not solid at this point, that like if you watch Nick's stream, he's always changing abilities on the fly. So the wiki may not be up to date, is what I'm trying to say. So take that with a grain of salt. But it is actually good to get an idea, and it's kind of close, right? It's just there may be stuff in the game that's not in the wiki, so don't look at it as this is the thing here. It's going to mirror exactly what's in the game. It's not right now. And you know what? Considering that we're going to be doing, once the EA starts, and then we'll be working on M1, I don't know if the wiki will be out at one point. I don't know if the wiki will be up to date ever, actually, because we're going to constantly be adding stuff as we go. It'll be a better idea, but Fizzwick says we have Wallabus and Chazola maps on the wiki. Man, those maps are really good. Absolutely love them. I am so jealous. I make maps myself too, but they're more like old D&D maps, right? It's not Chat stuff looks very professional. Mark Dean says you could drop a sword in EQ and it would point north. I love that statement because not everybody knows that. I love it because a player was paying attention and tested that. When I first started playing Monsters, I remember when they let me in the test back 4 years ago. I figured something out that I don't think at the time the team knew. But I was able to figure out that the world itself was inverted upside down, just because of the way that degrees works, and it was actually flipped opposite way. And I mentioned Ollie, and they fixed it. But it was, I just did tests like I would do in life, scientific test. And I just figured it out that, oh wow, this degrees is this way and it's pointing the other way, which means it has to be upside down. That the Y was inverted, so it had to be righted, flipped over. And I gave them my proofs, and they were impressed with it. But I did that before I ever got on the team. I was just playing it. I was like, hey, do y'all know this? And they're like, oh, let's get it fixed. Tapper says, does the sun rise in the east and set in the west? Would it be a right question, in my opinion? Nicodemus already gave a spoiler how to navigate at nighttime. It is, you're correct. It does rise in the east and set in the west. VT says he is an altaholic. I think it's great. I think that the game will have longevity as the game is going to be stretched out horizontally as opposed to vertical leveling, right? right now I think the level's 60 is the maximum level. Don't know if that's going to be the end result. I just feel like because of other games and because I can't remember, was EverQuest? It was 50, wasn't it? Highest level in EverQuest, if I remember right. So it was 0 to 50. I might have to look that up. Someone can look that up for me. Jefferson says, Nicodemus, do you know when the rest of the Druid and Harbor quest will be implemented? Night Harbor Druid quest will be implemented after I get done with all the fail and draw quests. That is my task for now, and it'll probably take me the middle of next month to get finished with all the fail and draw quests at the rate I'm going now. I just noticed Fizwick says originally it's 50. Yes, thank you. And Navarre got it too. 50 before Kennard. Okay, that makes sense. I guess 60 of standard was WoW. Was WoW 60 or was WoW 50 originally? I kind of feel like 60 is like the marker now. Like that's the norm. I'm going to try to say this. Vikik the Great says you can't stop me from going to the glowing green fortress. I cannot stop you from going there. Absolutely correct. You may run into some opposition. Chancellor, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Q Stewart, a 3-hour CR in the Plane of Hate wasn't the greatest experience at the time. We were exhausted and mad as fire, but we still talk about it today with some fondness looking back. I do feel like sometimes when you have a hard time at a game, it's look at like Demon Souls or Elden Ring. Those are hard games. They are not for the faint of heart. And those fights that you win and win barely, you worked hard for it, and they are very memorable. And I imagine that, just like that with the raids that were in the Plane of Hate, with the Bone Construct and Orange Mane, people, when they finally figure out how to do that, there's a sense of accomplishment, and you never forget that kind of stuff. And I think that's a good thing. I think those fights should be memorable. VTech says, I heard a rumor that it's being lives in the Green Castle. You may go there, and you may get the standard Mario message that the princess is in another castle. May. I'm not sure. That may be happening. VT said, SSI Gold Box games were great. Yes, I absolutely agree with you. I loved that stuff back in the day. I wish they'd made more of those. I mean, they made quite a few, and I got the box set that had like Unlimited Adventures. Actually, I did art for that game. Put together a module myself, and just smiled and had fun with it. It was good stuff. Not sure, Owen, sir, what you're up to there. Tavish, I had an Armstrad 464. My best friend had a C64. C64 had so many great games. Yeah, I'm trying to think now. I think 7 Cities of Gold was the one I loved the most on C64. VT says, one of the first MMOs I played was on AOL, Neverwinter, which was done like Gold. Yeah, I remember that. I'd actually tried to play it, or tried to get, being that you had to pay for it. I ran into a problem. My parents would not pay for they just didn't see the value in it like I did. Trash 80. I love the Trash 80 too. Radio Shack, playing King's Quest Sierra games was great. I love the storytelling he did. And those games were so basic. Just pixel art, like maybe 30 or 40 screen tops. It reminds me of Shadowgate from the Nintendo Entertainment System. If y'all ever played that, it was really good. Very simple stuff. There says 31 hour to load game. Those were yeah. Yeah, especially if you had to load a game from a tape drive. That took forever. Physics says the good old PC RPGs even came with pads of paper and purpose of mapping. Yeah, and the Gold Box games actually had like journals, right? So you would play the game, and in the game it would just say something like Journal Entry 5, and you'd have to flip through the book and find it, and then over time you'd look get a better picture as you're highlighting stuff. And I had a friend of mine was like, "Why don't you just read the book? You'll know everything." And I'm like, "Don't jump ahead." Mark Deaton. Stained? Is it Stained, I guess. See? Tavish didn't know you could do that with a sword. Go through that. I'm going to try to catch up a little. Owen Sir says, I got stuck on the road quest when you got to eavesdrop. Were you able to get that finished? I will say the eavesdrop stuff was tricky to implement. There was some changes, I think, at some point. Let me know if you don't mind. Send me a DM if you're stuck, and I'll see what I can do to get you back on track. It was not easy to implement. Biggity Ray says, you said how I said it, but know if it's right or not. Who knows if it's right or not? Who knows? VT says, Mina lives in the Green Fortress. Well, if she does, she's got a lot of friends. Piswick Pennyworth says, I did 8 corpse recoveries at level 8 to find out the Green Fortress interior isn't in the game yet. It's not in the game yet. Are you sure? VT says, I kept bags of crafting gear in the bank for corpse runs. Yeah. I mean, part of the game to me is like preparing for the inevitable that you're going to die at some point. What are you going to do? It's not obvious when you first start the game that you have to come up with these ways to do corpse retrieval, and as you master the game, you start to come across ideas for, okay, yeah, well, what if I put an extra spell book in the bank, or what if I make these social interactions, I get to know somebody, so and so is a tailor, right? Or I get to know where some of the NPCs in town who will give you free items if you ask them. Somebody help you with your corpse run. Oh, I didn't know that the C64 had the initial Final Fantasy. I thought that was on the Game Boy. BT says, I think the first RPG games that got to me was Zork when I found Wizardry on the Apple IIc. Yeah, Wizardry was a good game. Zork I liked. I only played one of the Zorks. There was like 4, I think. I think it was the first Zork I played. There was a pirate game I played back at that time. It was really good. It was all text-based. Settle Tick says, I am playing through Final Fantasy 1 right now. Will be my 15th about. Great day. Awesome. 15th time? Wow. I can't say anything. I've known people who read books over and over again. I mean, if it's a good book, it'll stand the test of time. Lord on BBS. Yes, Legend of Red Dragon was really good. There was also Trade Wars, which were really good. If you liked like a space game, it's sort of a precursor to EVE Online. Well, guys, I have enjoyed this. Thank you for joining me this evening. It's almost 1:30. I got about another 30 minutes. I got to get this stuff finished up real quick and then call it a night. Do you guys have any more questions? Thank you all for the follows. Much appreciated. Please check out the other streamers if you can. Usually, I forgot to say this earlier, but you got Sean, who is a Love and Robot, who usually streams on either Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And this is all Eastern time because all I know is usually around 2 o'clock Eastern time. And then you've got Zucan and ZBrush, who usually stream in their evenings. I think ZBrush streams more often. Goblin streams for the concept work. He is at the Goblin Works. And he does concept work, he does icons, right now he's doing like hairstyles for the guys on the character guys to be able to work from. But I absolutely love his streams. He's very interactive with people. He's good with suggestions. He'll talk about how he does his art. Excuse me. And then let's see. And then Chinny's doing the environment art. And I do part of the quest and just take questions from you guys. And then Nick Hotz generally does like abilities, and he does a lot of different things. But for the most part, like his focus is abilities and spells and making sure that that's balanced. And then we have a lot of guys on the team who don't do the streams, but every man is needed. Every person is needed on the team to get stuff done. And I'm really impressed daily with stuff that I'm seeing in Slack. And I wish I could show it to you, but I can't. But as soon as EA gets here, y'all are gonna get to see it all. So it's only a couple of days away, right? It's only a day away in dev years. So that's what I like trying to say is it feels like tomorrow for us because we're always doing stuff. $143 and 10 hours. All right. You guys have a great night. I am going to be back on tomorrow night to do more dev work. And then hopefully Sunday night, I'll have my daughter with me to help do some testing. All right. So you guys take care. I'll see y'all hopefully tomorrow night. Bye.